everyone, and welcome to the Doom Tomb podcast. My name is Chris. I am your host, and today we have a double shot. We have the band Hudu Akil up first, and they were based out of Yuma. I think they're going to be relocating, but they were on their Indian summer tour with the band Heavy, spelled H-V-Y, and another band that did a short interview that will be after this called the Sinbound. And the Sinbound are on the West Coast, are based out of Seattle. They play this kind of like garage rock, kind of punk with a little blues mixed in, and they would fit in great with any stoner show or any other show for that matter. They were a two-piece band and got to know them a little bit. I can't wait for some of their material to finally come out. But yeah, just find them on social and give them a like. And I think we'll get into this now. This is the band Hudu Akil. I'm at the Rogue Bar in Scottsdale, Arizona, meeting the band Hudu Akil, Hudu Akil, in the middle of their current tour. Gentlemen, how the hell are you?
What's going on, man? We're doing good.
Feeling great.
Fantastic.
All right, now could you please go around the horn and introduce yourselves?
Yeah, man. This is Zach Cry, the singer and guitarist.
Angel Calderon, I'm the drummer.
Trent Reed, bass.
Now, I know you all live in a different area than one another, right? Like, you are from Yuma?
Yes, I'm originally from Texas, which is where Trent comes from, and he meets us down here in Yuma. And now I live in Yuma, which is where Angel's from. And we also have another guitar player, and he can't be here for the first few nights of the tour, and he's from Texas as well.
Does it have anything to do with him cutting his hair?
Yeah, I think that was the first thing. That should have been a sign.
Uh-huh.
You know? And then so he cut his hair, and I was none the wiser. And the next thing I know, he's not here.
Questions.
Yep. We'll see what happens in San Marcos on Friday.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just afraid we don't make fun of him too hard.
Yeah, maybe.
Some time to let things calm down.
So he's going with the, like, GQ kind of almost like, does people even say Guido anymore? Do they even say that word? I don't even know.
It's been
It's been a hot minute. I'm just probably showing my age.
We'll bring it back.
Speaking of, so what's the deal? You gonna keep yours or what?
I want it fucking off of my head, man. It's so hot. I mean, I've grown attached to it, but it'll grow back, right?
As a man that has to shave his head, I'm just saying keep it as long as you fucking can. Please.
It's complicated out here in Arizona.
But at least it's dry.
Yeah,
It's not
bad.
humid, you know. You don't feel like you walk outside and you're taking a shower as soon as you step outside.
Absolutely right. I bet you feel really good.
Oh, I feel much better being out here than in Florida, believe me. So let's start off with the tour. So I saw that you played Slab City.
Oh, yes.
Now-
You want to talk about Slab City?
Can you please? I've seen documentaries about this place. Please tell me what the hell went on there.
Man, it was fucking gnarly, man. We had a good show. The guys that set the show up for us were really great. Builder Bill out there.
Right.
He's really cool. At the range, they have it all set up. All those guys were very accommodating. And then we ran into some guys afterwards that were like, come back to our place. This one guy was like, I live in this big can over here. He's like, the one with the women spray painted all over it. And we're like, all right, that sounds cool. And then these other guys were like, well, we can offer you a safe place to camp. And we're like,
It's unregulated there, right?
yeah, it's
There's nothing.
total anarchy out there, man. And so we decided to go with the safe place because the other place, they didn't say anything about being safe.
Explosives and stuff.
Yeah, he
So-
said, he's like, oh, we got C4 back there. We can play with fire and all sorts of guns he finds in the desert.
Sounded fun to me. I didn't have a problem with any of it. But we went with the other guys. They let us stay at the library out there, and they really do have a great collection of books and stuff in there.
What kind of books? Is
Just-
it on making explosives?
No, it's all on different subjects, man. They got a little makeshift library. All this stuff out there is like fucking made out of pallets and shit.
Right,
man.
yeah, pallet furniture. Yeah, man, that's a big deal.
Yeah, not just the furniture, the fucking structures they live in. man.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
It's
do
like
you,
Mad Max.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like Mad Max, man.
So do you suggest other bands to go out there and play?
Fuck yeah. If you like to get weird, go out there.
Have you ever been out to Bisbee?
No.
Bisbee, Arizona? Because I hear that. I haven't been there yet. I hear it's like one of those styles of towns where you don't really know everything that's going on, and it gets
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
There's a little X-Files.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So you stopped off, what was that thing called? What's the guy? I saw this, there was a documentary, I think it was called something about the Salton Sea, and they had this guy that had this huge mountain, and it was like covered in paint, and he has a lot of stuff about God and stuff, and Salvation Mountain.
Salvation Mountain. That
So-
place was awesome.
It was?
Yeah, a little sketch, just because basically the whole thing's made out of, what was it, hay bales.
Right.
Yeah.
And then does he keep pouring paint over it and finds like used paint?
That's it. It's just layers and layers of paint.
Did you get to talk to him?
No, I think that guy has passed away.
Did he?
Yes, but there's people out there that have been running it since he was out there.
Oh, so they keep the tradition alive.
Yeah, they're taking over, and he gave us some info on everything and was kind of showing us around. But it's like some of the structures are just hay bales packed on top of each other, and then they dump that paint layer after layer. I think they said like 14 layers of paint to get a good base.
Good foundation, yeah.
Yeah, so I think they put several layers of paint. I don't know.
Not to mention, he told us it was somewhere between 8,000 to 10,000 bales of hay out there.
Yeah.
So did anybody say like what's the purpose? Is it just to spread the word?
It says out there that it's a religious endeavor.
Really?
It says something along the words that an intense religious endeavor that not many mortals will experience.
Mm-hmm.
And he did all that just to show his love for the Lord.
So what'd you think of it?
I thought it was powerful. It wasn't my first time to be there, but
Okay.
Even since, it's a cool place to go. What'd you guys think? It was y'all's first time.
Yeah, it was pretty tight for sure. It was something to see. It's definitely kind of a break from the norm.
Yeah, I can't imagine something that would compel me to do something like that. So that's pretty intense.
No doubt. You get bored in the desert.
So what can you tell me about the rest of the places you've been so far?
Slab City was quite an experience. That was a hell of a way to kick off the tour. The next night was in Carlsbad, and that was great. We chilled at the beach. We hung with some great friends, Buddy and Marco and fucking Mucho from fucking Sabbath Buddy Sabbath, man.
And Great Electric Quest.
Yeah.
Now, let's just give a shout out to Mucho, because I saw the drum kit, and you bought the cover from him, I think, or you had to make the cover.
And he killed it, dude.
He always does. I keep telling bands, band branding can be so important, and you need to see who the band is, or Hudu Akil the band is. Yeah. And it's great that you have it. It's great that you supported him, and I would give Mucho a shout out any day, every day about the great work he does.
Any bands that want some good drum heads, just hit up Mucho Drums on Facebook.
Yep, at Mucho Drums.
Yeah.
Or find them at Great Electric Quest or Sabbath Buddy Sabbath.
They're tearing it up all across the country.
Cover. It's not an actual head. It's just a cover, Zach.
It's the cover for the kick drum.
Yeah, it fits over the kick drum, and that's something that tripped me out. I thought I was getting a head in the mail. He's like, I'll mail it to you, and then I get this little bitty box.
This little box, yeah, a little package all tight. Yeah.
This isn't a drum head. What the hell is this?
But he, the great thing about it is, so say you have some people that you have flying in or whatever, and they don't have a kit, and maybe they're using your kit, or vice versa.
Yeah,
you
just
take
pull
that
yours
head
right
off,
yeah.
or take that piece off. It's
or in Mucho's case, I think he probably plays in like 100 bands or something.
Yes, he does. He's a very busy
in a couple for sure. He can just change his heads out,
So let's get started into. First off, is there any other places that you've been that sparked your interest?
We played a hometown show in Yuma, yes, and just a couple days ago we did Tucson last night. That was the first time we ever been to Tucson, and we met some cool friends,
You went to House of Bards, right?
Yep, House of Bards, and it's a very nice venue, man.
So in Yuma, what is the place for this type of music to book a show?
Well, the Maverick is where we've been jamming forever, man. They've been like the Rock for as long as I've been there.
Right.
They host the most bands. Like, they'll accept any type of music, and they're always very, very nice.
Besides them, the Littlewood Co-op that just recently opened up, they host bands as well, and they do a lot of things for the whole community. And that's a good place to play for any touring bands. They can probably get them a show there.
So check that out if you're heading over to Arizona and you need to book a few shows, because I know there's plenty of places here in the Scottsdale, Tempe, Phoenix area. Then you've got Mesa and et cetera. But then you got places in Tucson. You got a place in Flagstaff. Was it the Green Room?
Yeah, the Green Room in Flagstaff. That was a cool place.
Yeah, it's a kick-ass place. There's great places in Tucson as well. You got I think the Flycatcher. I don't know how long it's going to be around. Surly Wench Pub, Club Excess, maybe.
We were originally booked at the Loud House, I think.
Yeah, the Loud House, sure.
But I think they're having some kind of troubles. I don't know what's going on with them.
That's the problem with the clubs. Sometimes, it's they just come and go.
Yeah.
So can you just tell me a little bit about how the band got started and how long you've been an active band?
Yeah, it's actually kind of a long story. I'll try to keep it short.
I've got time.
I'm from Texas, man, and we wrote some music back in Texas and went and recorded it. And that's what we originally called it, Zach the Zombie, which is the Hudu Akil self-titled EP that we have right now.
Right.
And so back then, we were doing the Zach the Zombie thing, and then I just decided it's time for us to move on. I have family out here in Arizona. We moved here.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up out in Arizona. And the Zach the Zombie thing wasn't really turning heads. I wanted to go for something new, but I knew that album that we had was good.
Right.
And so we changed the name to Huda Akil. We rebranded. I finally met a good drummer, Mr. Angel Calder in here.
Hey, what's up?
Man, fucking magnificent drummer. And I never did find the rest of the band, so I started flying out the guys I used to jam with.
Right.
The drummer would, back home, he wouldn't come, man. So that's what led me to find Angel.
That's kind of a part of the battle. It's just like you have to have everybody together as a cohesive unit for a common goal. If somebody's not in it, sorry, you're out.
Exactly. That's it. And that's how it has to be. And we got a gel, man. And I like jamming with Angel. He is into the same stuff I'm into. The first things that we talked about were how we like bands like Clutch and Fu Manchu, and how he appreciated the album because of those elements. And so that's all I needed to hear.
Now, how did you come across the name?
Actually, it came from a podcast that I was listening to, and they were talking about her name is Huda Akil, and she is a neuroscientist. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so she did some leading work on like anxiety and endorphins and stuff like that.
Right.
And I thought they were saying Hudu Akil. And so I'm like, Hudu Akil. And then I saw how they spelled the name, and I thought it was really cool. And so we just jacked her name.
Yeah, it fits. It just fits.
Yeah.
And especially with the music, it takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
And there's definitely an endorphin release. If anybody, let me put this straight. If anybody has not seen you all live, stop what you're doing, find out where the fuck these guys are, and go see them, because they put on a dynamite show. I've seen them twice so far, and they have not disappointed. They put on a show that anybody in this genre will want to see, and not only that, want to book. So please, go check these guys out while you can. And also, we'll talk about it after, but follow them on social media to see where the hell they're going to be next, because you guys have been around a lot of spaces in a short period of time.
Yeah, we're a fairly new band, and we're getting it in, man. We got a lot of pin up fucking momentum, and we're ready to let it loose.
Ready to let it out.
Yeah, that's it.
So let's talk about this. What do you consider it? Like an EP or
our self-titled album?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's an EP. It's 5 songs. I think it's very eclectic. We like to keep it eclectic,
And I noticed that if you don't mind, I'd like to go over a couple of the tracks.
Absolutely.
It's just like each song has a different vibe to it, has a different vocal to it. There's a lot of different elements. And then the one thing that I really like is when I start to hear the song and it bursts out as one thing, but then it builds to something completely different. I love that, whether even if it's in a movie or a comic, that you cannot tell what the joke is going to be, or you can't tell what the ending of a program is going to be. That's what I hear when I hear your music. So could you please start out with The Weight and tell me about that?
Absolutely. The Weight is just, I came up with this riff, and honestly, when I started jamming it, it was just like a little exercise I was doing. But eventually, I turned it into a riff, and I thought, this doesn't even sound like something that we would play. And then I thought, well, what the fuck does that mean? We're the ones playing this shit. We can decide what we sound like. And,
right.
And honestly, when I wrote that song, I thought it was so different from my other stuff that I'd written and that I wouldn't even like it. And we recorded the entire song in the studio before I ever wrote the lyrics to it. And then once I wrote the lyrics to it, it really turned into like, man, this is really cool because we come with that line, smoke the reefer.
Fear the reaper. Oh, wait. What's
it's
it?
like greet the reaper.
Greet the reaper, smoke the reefer.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting point because it doesn't matter which song is on this release. There's always something that is super catchy to where I can't tell. And this is not a joke, and I'm not blowing smoke in your ass. It's just I was saying that line, and I fuck it up every time. So it's like, I'm greeting the reaper, I'm smoking the reefer, I'm smoking the reaper, whatever the fuck I'm doing, I'm enjoying it. And I mean,
I'm enjoying it. That's it. That's all you...
Hey, not to mention that we lived that song out.
Yeah, everything that we write, man, is like coming from a real place, you know?
So is that song about just you guys being on the road, or just...
It's about wanting to get on the road.
Wanting to.
Yeah, because when we wrote that song, well, it had never been on any kind of tour.
Okay.
And so it's just about, that's why it's called The Wait, because it seems like, we're just waiting. I'm just waiting on all these pieces to fall into place so that we can do what the hell we've been wanting to do forever.
And now you're out doing it.
And now we're here doing it, and it's a fucking blast.
All right, Angel. Yeah, it's a good time.
He's a man of so many words, isn't he? He's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about the second track? Is it the ride?
The Ride, yeah.
Now the only reason I'm not, see, here's the thing. I had the CD in the car for like the past week, just constantly rotation. I see the songs, and now I'm looking down to see it. And I don't have my glasses on, so obviously I can't see shit. But I can kind of make it out, and I was hoping it was The Ride. So what can you tell me about that track?
It comes out of the same key as The Wait, and I just decided to have a two-part song, It actually comes from that Sid and Nancy movie. They're all waiting outside this guy's house to get some smack, and the guy's like, the worst part is the wait. and that's where I came up with The Wait. It is the worst part, man. I hate the wait. And then we finally get to go on the ride, and that's kind of what the lyrical content is about that song, yeah.
Now, is there any music coming up that you're taking on a different topic, or what kind of topics do you have for your next upcoming release?
Man, we're touching on all kinds of things. We kind of keep it abstract. Like I said, lyrically, all the stuff comes from a pretty real place. I just trying to describe the way I see things,
Is it all collaborative, or do you write most of the lyrics?
I write all the lyrics for sure.
Okay.
That's one thing that I do totally.
So how does a song? Hold on, let's wait for that. Whatever that was to go by. How do you start creating a song? Do you each come with like, hey, I got a beat, I got a bass line, I got a guitar solo? Like, what's the process for you?
Well, the way that we wrote the first album was just me and a drummer back in Texas, and that's kind of how I kept on writing songs after that. And I just got these riffs that I work out with Angel.
Right.
And we get it down, and we usually cut the demo at my house. I have like a small home studio there.
Sure.
And then we'll send the tracks towards Trent's way. Towards Trent Way. We send it towards Trent Way.
It's Trent Way. It's right off the highway.
Yeah.
Not a byway, but
and so, and then, Justin's up there too, and they learn the songs, and then usually we have to go back and forth. It's a pain in the ass. It's a really
that's the process.
Yeah. And it's fun, though. It's fun.
So, what can you tell me about Medusa?
Medusa is a fucking cool-ass song.
Well, okay, we got I heard it live tonight, so I can attest to that. Sure.
It's another one of those songs that I didn't think really sounded like us, and the riff is kind of silly, but when I wrote the lyrics, I thought, man, we really have something here, and just to have a kind of theme like Medusa would give us something to build on as far as music video and stuff like that, imagery and all that.
So you put out a video for that one?
Yes, there is a video on YouTube, man. You can check out our YouTube channel, Hudu Akil, and just look up Medusa. It's on there. It's pretty cool. We have about 25 different snakes on the set.
Nice.
Yeah, the snakes started crawling into our speakers. We had to pull the grates off our amps to get the snakes out.
I gotta wonder what that is. I had a couple of snakes back in the day. I had a green Burmese python that loved to get into the woofer. Is that it?
That's
the circle with the hole
That's
in
exactly where they went.
Yeah, and they went. I don't know what it is. Whether it's the vibration, the sound. Is there heat in there? I have no idea. But I lost them and I couldn't find them. And I was like, well, I guess Snake's gone somewhere in the apartment at the time.
Did you start jamming? And then he came out?
Well, yeah, I just randomly. I think I had, this shows how long ago it was. I had the band Tool. It was Anemia, or however you pronounce that title, and started blasting that. And sure enough, he pokes his head out. I'm like, ah! So I just kept playing it, and he just kept kind of slinking out. I was like, all right, I guess he just likes the speaker. I don't know, man.
I shared an apartment with a bunch of dudes, and we lost a snake for like 4 days. And then I got up in the middle of the night for one of those late night water drinks, and I go into the kitchen and I open the fridge, and all I see when the fridge light hit was this fucking snake with his face in my face.
He was in the fridge?
No, he was coming off of the freezer, off the top of it. Yeah, and he was just like all in my grill.
Well, it's nice and warm up there.
Yeah, so I had to wake everybody up and tell them I found the snake.
Yeah, a word, just like a public service announcement. If you're having some fruit, like say a watermelon or something, don't keep it on the top of your refrigerator. I did that years ago, and it just melts and it oozes everywhere. It's the stickiest shit ever.
Look out, people.
It's just terrible. So please, don't do that. Put your watermelon aside, cut it up, preferably grab seedless. Nobody likes the seeded shit anymore. Just to throw that out there. All right, so the next track, what chord?
Sarcusa Musica.
Sarcusa Musica? Okay. No, what's the proper pronunciation? How do you say it?
Sarcusa Musica.
Okay.
It just stands for circus music.
So we got kind of like more of an instrumental track here.
Yeah.
And do you think that maybe there'll ever be a lyric to it, or are you just going to keep it?
Oh, no. That song's, we're done with that. We're moved on. But it's kind of just, I thought it was very circusy. At first, I thought maybe we would write lyrics to it, but it feels better as just, an instrumental.
Right.
Yeah, and then the lead guitar parts on that are very abstract. That's what I've heard from a lot of people, and I definitely tried to make it that way. I'm not very good at lead guitar, so I have to make up for that by being different.
Well, I'm going to not agree there with that because I saw you live. I've heard it. I think it's brilliant, man. I think everything you're doing is brilliant. I think you guys are deep in the pocket, and there's enough time to watch everybody get a chance to shine. I don't know. Don't ever sell yourself short, brother.
No, for sure. I'm just saying I'm not. I got to be different,
Right.
Yeah, because I'm no virtuoso. That's all I'm saying.
And what can you tell me about Highway Dreams? Now, and before you say it, I wanted to hear that track just because, and I'll probably screw up the lyric. Burning diesel, burning oil, burning gasoline.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and that's the other piece that I just go around the house singing it all the time. So it's super catchy. It reminds me of this this borderline not a biker band, but like that you're revving it up and you're ready to go in your chopper, and just heading down the highway or something.
That's our arena rock song.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, hell yeah. We get people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Guns N' Roses or something like that.
It's funny you say that. I hate saying to a band what I think an influence might be, but I felt like I heard that.
Yeah.
I felt like I heard GNR. And I only mean that as high praise because I don't know what they sell, 30 million albums. So if you do that, you're on the right track.
For sure, yeah, man. We just so many influences, all the greats, all the classics, and take them in through a funnel and try to put out something that's our own. And those influences leak out a little heavier in some spots than others.
Sure.
But yeah, I think Highway Dreams is a blend of kind of a punk rock riff with a heavier mindset and with the main yeah, that's kind of a punk rock thing, but when you kick it in with the it gets super heavy.
You get chuggy with it.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I find super interesting is like, well, first off, for the majority of the release, you have a lot of clean vocal. You have a couple screams in there and stuff, but it's tasty screams.
Yeah.
And you mix it up, but there's this, so it's like, and this is me personal, it's like this stoner vibe. We got a hard rock outfit, then we get a little punk, and we put it all up, wrap it in a nice bow, and shove it out to the public. And I'm telling you, for people that haven't heard this, you might as well just pause it and find them and check out their music, because I'm telling you, man, I had it in my car, no joke, the whole week. You can even go to the car now and check it. It's in that CD player, and I don't think it's coming out anytime soon.
Well, fucking hey. You just come on the road with us, Chris, and tell everybody that every night.
If I could introduce you every night, that would be a joy and an honor. So, you had another release before. It was like a couple tracks.
Yeah. Our very first record,
with
Three
the
Finger
fingers
Lid.
and
Yeah.
the blood, and which you know, here's the thing. It's like I see some bands every once in a while, way too fucking serious for my blood.
Yeah.
And I've seen you guys screw around a little bit on social media, and I think you're just having a great time, and you're bringing a lot more than a lot of other bands now, and I think that well, let me ask you this: how important do you think your social media presence is to being successful as your band?
Well, from a business standpoint, it's probably very important for us.
Right.
And in this day and age, from a personal standpoint, I like to put out content. I think that's important for us to maintain a certain level of momentum.
Sure.
We want to give stuff to people. You know, we're not out here trying to. We're only here to provide content, and I think we're funnier than we are anything else. And it comes out in comedy most of the time. Yeah.
I love that you did a something on social where I don't know where you were, but you were on top of somebody's house or something.
Yeah.
And playing wasn't it? Were you blasting some Ted Nugent? Was that it?
Yeah. That was our guitar player Justin's house. He lives out in the middle of fucking nowhere in Arkansas.
All right.
And so I climbed up on his house. We fucking hoisted the half stack up there. And I let it rip, all kinds of classic shit. We were playing Ted Nugent, Mountain, you know, Mississippi Queen, fucking Van
Leslie
Halen.
West.
Yeah, all kinds of shit, man. I saw Buddy and them on the roof, man. So we were just trying to keep up with them.
That's it. Oh, you mean from a
yeah, they had some shit going on the roof, and then we tried to respond to that. So
they're the kings of social media, man.
Hey, they're killing it, man. Fucking shout out to Great Electric Quest, man. I love you guys.
I'd love to see, because I know Electric Quest has a new album coming out, and I'd like to see you guys playing with them next time they show up into the town.
That'd be killer, yeah, man. We'd like to get on fucking all those cool shows, man. Great Electric Quest is dope. You know, if Mothership ever comes out here, we want to jam with you guys, too, motherfuckers.
So when do you think that you're going to have your next release out?
Well, you know, the cool thing about this tour is that it's going on, but we're ready to get off of it so we can come record our album. It's like fresh right now. We got it. It's done. Mm-hmm. We just haven't recorded it yet.
So do you think maybe end of the year? Or?
Probably by January. I think a New Year release, something like that.
Cool.
Well, we should have a new single out by the end of the year.
All right. Please get it to me when you do.
Yes, sir.
We'll definitely promote that. And let me talk a minute about your merchandise. I was talking earlier about the colors that you're having. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have one black shirt. I have a million black tour shirts. Mm-hmm. I love the coloring. Whose idea was to provide some actual color?
I just thought, you know, everybody's got black shirts. We had two cool black designs that we wanted to do, and I just figured we'll put the logo on a few different colored shirts just to have some variety.
And who does your artwork?
The artwork was done. The new logo that we have was done by David Paul Seymour.
Fantastic.
Yeah, which is, you know, if you don't know who he is, you ought to check him out. You should know who he is.
He comes up on this podcast probably almost every one.
Yeah.
Someday I'm going to get him. I'm thinking about doing a Skype call with him. It might be a 10-hour interview with all the bands and all the logos.
He's got so
he's done.
much to talk about. Man.
I bet.
He's doing beer and everything.
Comics
skateboards.
yeah.
The Planet of Doom.
Yeah,
that's
the
coming.
animated.
Oh my God! Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I have.
Fucking sick.
He's got a lot on the table, but a super talented guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And what about the other?
The other logo was done by Mr. Eric Calvert from Switchblade Jesus out in Corpus Christi, Texas.
What a great band.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. And he's multi-talented. He's making guitar pedals, and he does graphic design, and he does T-shirt prints and all kinds of shit. So.
I seem to see that a lot where I'm talking to a band and like I have no idea what the rest of their business is. Maybe they're like an expert tattooer or they do artistry like that or illustrations. Yeah. I never ever know. And speaking of this gentleman right here, he has a very unique talent that it'll be on social media, but way before this comes out. But could you tell me a little bit about those and what you're doing with them?
Okay, so these are called Poi.
Yeah.
And basically, it's just part of what would be considered like flow art. They're a flow prop. There's tons of different kind, but it's just something fun, man. It's just really relaxing, first off.
Right.
You can kind of just get into the swing of it, and it's just something to do to keep you busy. It's really fun during the music.
So the reason I'm saying is because I have a pair at home. P-O-I, Poi, like Poi Balls.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And yours light up, mine light up. And,
You got the prettiest balls.
Well, yes, we both have. See, your balls are a little bit bigger than mine, like a little... They hang a little differently. Like you've got more of a teardrop ball. Mine are more just like, I don't want to say quite an egg shape, but they're more spherical. Yeah, you got more like an egg-shaped balls there. So yeah, those are wonderful balls there. And I noticed they're clean and clear, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of clear. It's just a little opaque, just like this silicone rubber there, just to kind of like, it's got this LED in the middle, just let it shine.
Would you mind for a second if I just felt your balls? Would that be?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, feel his balls, Chris.
Wow. Your balls are not...
Notice how one is lower than the other.
I do notice that. I think it might be genetic, but I noticed that they hang well. And good for you, my friend. Good for you. I've noticed it. Like, the reason I got them for some wrist dexterity. I also got them... for almost like a meditative thing?
Oh, absolutely. There actually, a lot of people do consider them a form of meditation.
Right.
But yeah, I know.
Consider it a form of meditation?
Sometimes. You just go out there, start spinning poi, you don't think about shit.
Now,
You're just having a good time.
Have you ever lit your balls on fire, or do you...
And, okay, so that's a goal of mine. It definitely is in the future, but... I hit myself just a little too often to start setting them on fire at this point.
When you start swinging your balls around, you got to be very careful.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, or I mean, if not for anything, you want to warn the crowd.
Right.
Burn the whole fucking place down.
Yeah. So first off, I'm going to light my balls on fire, and then I'm going to spin them around. So I just want everybody to be careful. So, do you have any special? Do you have any special gifts that we should know of?
No, I mean, drumming's pretty much all I do.
You mean besides being an angel?
Well, he is the angel.
Like, I don't really do much else. I play guitar a little bit, but I'm mostly a drummer.
Angel is selling himself short. He's a guitar teacher. He's working with the youth of the country.
Are you really?
Bringing in a new generation of musicians.
So let me tell you, do you prefer to play guitar more or drums?
I prefer to play drums more often.
Okay.
But you can write things on a guitar that you just can't, I think, achieve on drums. Like you can hear the drums in your head.
Sure.
But writing on the guitar is a whole separate experience, I think.
Tell me about your loop stuff that you do.
I use loop pedals a lot and like different delays and stuff. So I like to try to create almost weird synthesizer sounding things out of my guitar, and then I'll use that as the loop basis to create like, I don't know, I'll try rap beats, or I'll just try to put leads over it, practicing some solo stuff.
Sure.
I don't know, I'll turn it into bunch of different things.
So what about your kit? Do you have a specific kit that you like to use?
On tour right now, I'm using Zach's kit. It's a Pearl Vision, and it's really nice. He just got it reskinned with some coated ambassadors from Remo. They're awesome. I like the warm tone out of them. But at home, I use my kit. Usually, it's a Mapex M series. I think they're discontinued, or at least that model was.
Right.
I lucked out and found it at Goodwill for pretty cheap. It came with cymbals and a really good throne. But yeah, that kit, I just use it as the standard 4-piece with the 12-inch tom and then the 16-inch floor tom. And yeah, I don't know. I feel I put pinstripes on that, and I've gotten my cymbals pretty much customized to my liking.
And besides all that, he jams with every other fucking band in Yuma.
That's kind of important, though, because you know what? Inspiration comes from everywhere, and you got to keep fresh. I was talking to Matt Bacon from, he works with Ripple Music, but he's also from Dropout Media, and that was one of his suggestions was, once you're done, off tour or whatever, grab another band. You know, start paying. Actually, he was saying, do a tribute band. Yeah. You know, like Buddy, like Sabbath, Buddy Sabbath. And just to keep chops up, to keep yourself going, maybe you'll get another source of inspiration when you release something for your projects.
I think one person that comes to mind when you talk about that is Jeff Klein from Greenbeard, man. I've seen that dude on tour with several bands, and he always seems to be running with somebody. If he's not playing guitar for them, then he's playing bass, or he's fucking running merch, and he's just all over the place.
He's all over the field.
Shout out to that dude.
And shout out to anybody that actually figured out how to say their last release. Load or oddball? Did that?
You got me.
I think that's I've messed it up a bunch of times. I even remember I was talking to the band Red Wizard like a while ago. And I screwed up the interview in the beginning, admittedly. You know, they were off for a one-off date. And I said, so how long's the tour? Like, one day. When's it over? They're like, now.
Today.
Yeah, I just went one day. It's a one date. And I was like, oh, okay, sorry. And I asked them, how do you pronounce the name of your release? And they said, it was Miles that said, he's like, Cosmosis? I was like, oh, yeah, because they were on the same bill with Greenbeard, and I was thinking, Miles has a beard, Greenbeard, bearded, whatever, you know, and I was like, oh, shit, screwed that one up. All right, so moving on. All right.
Just erase the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I had to keep it in. You know, I've noticed that, you know, people, when they listen to this sometimes, they're like, yeah, I actually enjoy the mistakes. I enjoy it because it shows that you're real. Yeah, it's authentic. So what do you guys have coming up for the rest of this year?
Well, we're going to come off this tour. Our last day of the tour is July 8th, and it's right down the road at the Yucca Tap Room with Duel. And Stone Witch is going to be there as well. I can't remember the specifics on the rest of the band. After that, we are going to...
Is Wizard gonna be on that?
Yeah, Wizard.
Yeah. Wizard out of Montana.
Yes, sir. Thank you for bringing that up.
They'll bring some fucking thunder, no doubt.
I've drawn blanks over here.
That's all right.
But yeah, fucking, it's gonna be bad, dude. And we're really looking forward to playing with all those guys. And then right after that, we're gonna get in the studio as fast as we can. It's hard to say how soon that can be, you know, with money things and shit like that. We gotta see where we stand once we get off tour. But as soon as we're able to, we're going in the studio. And then we're going to release a single by the end of the year, before the end of the year. And then planning on releasing the new album by next year. And then touring some stuff next year. And we want to do some festivals. Try to get our foot in the door with more festivals for the year after.
Do you have any ideas of which ones you want to do, or do you just kind of keep it up in the air?
We'd like to do Doom and Stone, the Orange County one, and the Chicago one.
Chicago's this weekend, no?
Yeah, Chicago just went down.
Yeah. What about, like, do you think you guys are going to do South by Southwest next year?
I don't think that, you know, I don't know, man. I think you have to jump through a lot of hoops to get into that place.
There's so many shows there.
Yeah, we may do one of the outside shows.
Yeah,
like that.
No, it doesn't have to be because I was at a festival. There was plenty of people there, and it was a great space. It was a Texas Mist in Austin, Texas. Great venue to play.
Yep.
Huge place. You get lost in there. It's so big.
We'll be down in Austin next week, and I'm definitely going to talk to Damon about that, man. We want to be out there.
That's Damon from Gravitoid Presents. Huge shout out to him.
Yep, shout out.
Great contributor to this scene each and every day. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time. I super appreciate it. I know you're ready to get back to chilling for a little bit, take a little break before you get back out on the tour.
Yeah, we got 2 days off, and then we're heading to El Paso, and then we're breaking into Texas. We're going to do San Antonio, Austin, San Marcos, Corpus Christi, Dallas, Fort Worth. It's going to be a blast.
So how can everybody reach you on social media?
You can check us out on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Hudu Akil. We're at Hudu Akil and everything else. The best way to support us directly, if you want to get some merch, is at our store. It's a Big Cartel store. You just www.huduakil.com or Bandcamp. That's a great way to support all bands, really. It's probably the best way because they're giving the bands the best bang for their buck, and they're giving you the most access for your buck.
You know, one thing that I have noticed is some of the labels are doing this subscription thing, which I really love. Whether it's Ripple Music does it.
Their subscription is awesome.
It's fantastic. And the other one, Magnetic Eye, that I know of, that does that. I don't know if anybody else is doing subscription services, but shout out to them for like giving you such an amount of content for a great price.
We need more of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you know, just so people know, Bandcamp, you have all your stuff at. And then the rest is a Big Cartel?
Yep, it's just Hudu Akil at .bandcamp.com or huduakil.com, which will take you to our Big Cartel, which is huduakil.bigcartel.com.
And lastly, if we could just go around, what was the last concert that really blew you away?
Oh, fuck. There's been several. I think every time I see Primus, it blows me away. So the last time I saw them, that was awesome because they were just pulling from so many different points of their catalog that I didn't know what to expect.
Were you, pardon me because I'm an old man. Are you old enough to know that he was in a band called Sausage? Did you ever hear that?
I actually, I just found that CD at the pawn shop a few months ago, and I've been fucking jamming it.
It's great stuff,
album.
man. I remember I saw them. Sausage. I saw them. There was another band called Fire Hose back in the day. Then with was it Mike Watt? I think was in Fire Hose, and then there was a lo-fi rap artist called Basshead. It was just lo-fi hip hop. It was pretty great. Are you familiar with that for Basshead?
The term Basshead?
Well, no. Well, all right. Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, he's very familiar with that.
Yeah, well, we're in Slab City, so you never know. But no, the hip hop artist, I was around mid '90s or so. Does that sound familiar? And then who else was there? I think STP was on that bill. Stone Temple Pilots and Butthole Surfers closed it out. Wow, what a show, man! I would love to see the Butthole Surfers one more time.
What do you think of the new Stone Temple Pilots with the new guy?
Oh, yeah, I'm a purist. It's good.
I thought they did good with Chester Bennington.
Yeah, I thought they did good. I actually liked the side project that they had when they were going through the first, second, 15th round of Scott Weiland's issues. They did this side project called Talk Show, which I really kind of liked.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, check it out. It's good music. It's kind of you could hear the vein of STP, but putting her own little spin on it. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Talk Show, maybe you can find that at the pawn shop too. So okay, so yours was Primus.
I went and saw up here at I can't remember the venue. Black Label was out here.
Club Red.
I don't know, man. Was that what?
Was it in Mesa?
It was fucking right out here in Yucca, or in Tempe. It was fucking. I sound retarded right now. It was right out here in Tempe, man. It was fucking Black Label. It was COC, and
I think that was at Club Red, and that was in Mesa off of University.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go. Club Red. Yeah, that's an interesting venue. You got two sides. and one side's maybe holding about 500 people, the other side holds about 700. And you think when you see who's on the other side, like, oh great, everything's gonna bleed. You don't hear a sound.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything. I don't know how that's done. There's some kind of trickery, some kind of magic going on over there.
What really stands out to me about that show is I bought a ticket for my son, man. He rocks out. He's met Zach Wild before. I actually used to work a venue where they played, and I got a guitar signed for my son by Zach Wild.
Right on.
So that's always been like a mystic thing for him. Like, hey, do you want to go see Black Label Society? We'll go see Zach Wild. And he's like,
dude.
hell yeah. So we fucking drive all the way up here from Yuma, and we get here, and we pull up to the venue, and I'm like, there's not a lot of people here. What the hell's going on? And we get there, and our tickets wouldn't work.
That's right. I saw that on social. Did you have the wrong day or something?
Yeah, I came a day early, man. And they were like, nah, Vince Neil is here to play. And I was like, well, Vince Neil's not drawing a very big crowd, is he?
Dr. Not So Feel Good.
Yeah, I guess not. Huh? He needs to get back with the crew.
Yeah, he's just down to girls.
Yeah. So we drove all the way home, and then my wife couldn't make it that night, and we went back home, and I talked her into coming with us the next night. So then all three of us came.
There you go.
We watched Black Label, and it's just like it's just I felt my old 16-year-old self again for a minute. Man.
There you go.
Watching Zach Wild jam, it really made me fucking pumped up.
Are you a
man.
coffee drinker at all?
Oh yeah, I drink a lot of coffee.
Have you ever had Zach's
No, I
coffee?
haven't, man.
Valhalla Java.
You drink it?
Oh yeah. I'm a Death Wish coffee fan.
Fuck yeah.
And that's the side project that they have is the Valhalla Java. It's good stuff. It's lighter, but it's smooth. It seemed I would expect it if it was Zach to be a little harsher, but I like how smooth it is. It's great if you like coffee, man. If you're
He seems to have calmed down a lot.
I've heard about that. Yeah, well, the liver can only take so much.
Yeah, he's a fucking bad motherfucker, and every time I've ever met him, he's been so cool. What about you, Tran? Where's yours at?
Man, honestly, it'd be a change of pace, but
Yeah, we're gonna hear some electronic shit from Tran.
Some EDM stuff, or
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I was at a festival back in April, and there's this DJ out there, Space Jesus. If you like, yes.
Oh, there's a shout out over there. There you go.
If you like weird electronic music, though, go check that dude out. But I mean, it was pouring down rain. Nobody gave a fuck. We all just sat there and
Just vibed out.
Yep, and dude, like they have like the craziest visual art going on. He was playing the main stage, so they had this huge just projector screen with this crazy visual art going on, and like a total of 4 cages, 2 on either side, of just like the most beautiful girls all up there dancing. Like,
Did you get to pull your balls out at that show?
You know you were swinging him around.
Actually, I didn't have mine at that show, but my homie let me borrow his balls, so he let me
Wow.
swing them. Yeah,
Now, that's a good friend.
that is a very good friend.
That's a very good friend. How deep do you go in EDM?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty.
Because Tiesto is coming around here soon. Do you go back with any trance, or what's your style?
Man, honestly, it's kind of a little all over the place. I like artists that get a little, for lack of a better term, wonky.
Sure.
Just like kind of like the weird, more like groove, chill stuff.
Okay.
But honestly, an artist like Space Jesus, I think it's pretty cool. It's he's got a lot of like hip hop elements in it as well. He's
Okay.
not like he's got some vocals in his songs. He kind of incorporates that hip hop or rap style into it.
Does he do collabs with anybody like famous, or is it just kind of?
I can't. I'm sure he has. He does a lot of collaborations. Like he's
Okay.
always releasing all sorts of crazy stuff. But nobody I can think of just quite off the top of my head.
All right, so let's give a little rundown here. Just tell me yes or no. Trance?
Trance. It's a little too light for me.
Okay.
I need something a little more bassy.
Acid house?
Acid house. Depends on the artist.
Deep house?
Deep house.
These are all yes or no questions.
I know. You notice that?
Yeah, I can get down with that.
Okay, dubstep.
Dubstep. Yeah, I can do dubstep.
Bro step.
Broast. Okay, that one's new to me. I don't know that one.
Got him.
It's just a little heavy, a little harder than dub. It's
Okay.
Honestly, I think people have called Skrillex bro step instead of dub.
I mean, if that's the
Like a
case,
bro
that's
thing? Is that like bro science?
Yeah, like broing down.
That shit,
Yeah,
bro? Yeah. That's
okay.
bunch of guys with
They're like,
not
I fucking love Skrillex.
not the backwards baseball hat, but the hat that is like about 15 degrees off center. You know that the real douchey one. You know.
Fuck. You see them dudes coming, you walk away.
Where there's an overabundance of high fives, is what I'm saying. So what else would there be? Chill.
Chill?
Yeah.
I like chill.
All right. I think I'm running out of them. Is there any other types of EDM?
You got me.
I mean, I'm sure there's a million, but
Right.
that's about all I know.
There's one type to me, and that's the shit Trent listens to.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. I sincerely appreciate it. Please keep in touch and have a great 2018, brothers.
Hey, thank you so much, Chris. You too, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having us.
Take care. Cheers. I'm burning diesel, I'm burning oil, and I'm burning gasoline. Yeah, I love that lyric. I could go around singing that all day. I don't know why. I just, it was no joke. When I said I keep their CD in the car, I do. Just listened to it yesterday. It's kind of a perfect mix because, like, it's just the right amount of time for me to get to work. I can listen to the whole thing and then listen to the whole thing again coming home. Let's play a track off of that. This has that lyric in it. This is Highway Dreams.
Without my shades on, the truth hurts my eyes when all the blame's on me, and all the blame's on me. I gotta close my eyes when you look my way. I look in yours and all I see is highway dreams, yeah. I'm burning diesel, burning oil, burning gasoline. Burning up, burning inside, burning highway dreams. I'm burning diesel, burning oil, burning gasoline, yeah. Burning up, burning inside, burning highway dreams. Switching up, coast Looks like changing season, running from a ghost, chasing down my demons. I think I see one. I gotta close my eyes when you look my way. I look in yours and all I see is highway dreams. The highway dreams, yeah. I'm burning diesel, burning oil, burning gasoline. Burning up, burning inside, burning highway dreams. I'm burning diesel, burning oil, burning gasoline, yeah. Burning up, burning inside, burning highway dreams.
Next up is the band The Sinbound, and they're based out of Seattle, Washington. I got to speak with them for a few minutes, talked a little bit about their upcoming release and where they are musically. So let's have a listen. This is The Sinbound. All right, we are live on location at the Rogue Bar, and damn, what a great night it was. So we got to see Hudu Akil, the band Heavy, spelled HVY, and the members of the band that I'm about to talk to now. Could you please introduce yourself and the name of your band?
Hi, this is Ian, and we've got Elizabeth here, and the name of our band is The Sinbound.
The Sinbound.
Yes. Hi.
All right, and how long have you been an active band?
We've been a band for about 2 years now. We're getting into our third year performing live.
Right, and I see, so you're a two-piece, and from seeing yourself on stage, it's kind of a minimal thing. How did you decide that you wanted to do something like that?
Well, I guess the kind of bands that we were biggest fans of, like the White Stripes, the Kills, the Yeah Yeahs, all those type of bands were pretty minimal. So we kind of, I don't know, just started as a two-piece, and we kind of liked what we were doing, so we kept it like that, and we kind of just stayed that way.
Right. So I see you've got this thing, and I've seen it with some bands recently where you're playing guitar and you use a kick drum.
Mm-hmm.
How did that take a while to master doing both at the same time, or?
A little bit, you know. Mostly my foot would just get tired.
Right.
And you know, we don't do too much complicated, you know, syncopated beats or anything like that. But pretty much after a long time, it just becomes natural. And you just do it without thinking. So. Sure.
And have you ever added any other instruments, or are you just keeping it guitar and kick drum?
Just keeping it guitar and kick drum for now. We'll probably add a snare and probably a little bit more lower end at some point. But for now, just the two.
I saw this guy. he's in this other band, Source, and he also does a solo project called Via Vengeance. And he is a one-man doom band. And he actually has a snare on the floor that he uses as, like, I don't know, it's a kick snare, I guess you could say. And he does everything at the same time. There's no loops, there's no anything. He holds the guitar as he's sitting down, and I just can't believe it as I watch it. But one thing I wanted to say, I wanted to talk about your vocal. I've never seen that microphone before. Could you explain a little bit about that mic and why you chose it?
We're really into vintage
Right?
equipment, and we found this one at just one of our local stores, Musicians Trader, and we tested it out and just really liked it.
Do you know what kind of microphone it is?
We actually don't know what it is.
But it's got that vintage look that it's almost like what, like a rectangular kind of, and like that kind that you actually have to hold in your hand.
Yeah, we know it's from the 50s at sometime, but the guy there didn't know what it was. It's not marked, so we actually have no idea.
Right. And what equipment are you using?
I've got a 60s Silvertone amp. We've got a vintage 1960 Jensen speaker in the speaker cabinet. It's a 15-inch, and the guitar is actually a homemade guitar that Elizabeth's dad made.
Oh, awesome.
Which I down-tune quite a bit from a regular guitar, so it's a little more like a baritone.
Right. And so why did you decide that you wanted to go with a vintage sound? Was there something like an early influence that drew you to it?
We just kind of always liked old music ourselves, and we felt like kind of the guitar tones and the speaker tones of sort of vintage bands, we just to us sound a little bit better, so we kind of went with that.
Right. I see that a lot in the genre where people are drawing a lot from the 70s and that almost like that late 60s too, that psychedelic vibe. So now, okay, so you're in Scottsdale right now. Where are you headed from here?
Next is LA. We're playing at the King Eddie on the 7th.
And then?
And then that's going to wrap up our tour, and we're going to go back home to Seattle.
Speaking of, when you wrap up and head home, you mentioned off mic before that you're getting ready for a release. Can you tell me a little bit about it and tell me a little bit about some of the music that's going to be on it?
Yep. We're going to be hopefully putting out a CD at the end of July.
Right.
And it's going to be 14 songs, all original, and all of it's going to be played pretty much live. You know, there's not going to be a whole lot of effects and dubbing and, you know, multi-tracking and that type of thing.
Right.
And it's going to be, hopefully it'll turn out well. We'll see.
Fantastic. So if people need to reach you on social media, how can they do so?
Yeah, the band name's The Sinbound, so you can find us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of the regular social media type sites. Yes, and we actually have a website. That's right, thesinbound.com. All our tour dates are on there, and of course, when we put out our CD, you know, we're putting it out digitally, and you know, we can mail people CDs or anything like that.
So, since you're going for like a vintage kind of sound with the vibe that you have, do you think that you'll ever want to release anything on vinyl?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If we can afford it, we will. We'll definitely print some vinyls of our upcoming record. You know, depending on how expensive they are, we'll see how many we can get away with.
Right. Well, I mean, it's hot right now. It seems like anybody that's putting out vinyl, it just flies.
Yeah, I got a vinyl player myself, and I always buy the vinyls myself. So just, you know, because I dig the vintage, the warm sound. So.
Do you have a specific turntable or something that you prefer, or do you just like?
No, I just use whatever is inexpensive. So I got an old school one that I got at a garage sale. That, you know, that's just the one I use.
You know, I hear that a lot. I hear some people, because there are some that they're just in the tens of thousands of dollars, and a lot of people are just saying, no, I just it took me about a year, but I went to Goodwill and I got my whole system, whether it was the speakers or the turntable or what have you. So, what were some of your early influences, band-wise?
Oh, we have so many. We love the Dead Weather, the Kills, the Stooges, the Hives.
Yep, a lot of the '90s alternative rock bands, the White Stripes. Big into old blues, Patsy Cline, John Lee Hooker. A lot of '80s bands, Sisters of Mercy. Kind of a little bit all over the place.
Sure. Now, do you think that I know you said that this release that you have, you're going to have all original material. Do you think that you will ever do a cover, or do you ever do covers on stage?
We don't do covers right now. We've thought about it a lot. There's so many bands we'd love to cover. We're probably going to try to put out an album of all covers at some point in the future.
Really? Oh, that would be fantastic. So, all right, so for the rest of 2018, we have a couple more tour dates, maybe something down the line after you have your album released, correct?
Yeah, we're going to be playing the Backyard Festival, which is in just south of Seattle in Tacoma, Washington, which is a big metal festival they have every year. And we'll just be playing some shows locally and around Idaho in the Northwest.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. Hey, everybody out there, listen to these guys and gals. Go follow them on social media and get ready for their release coming out around middle of the year.
Yeah, hopefully late July. That's our target.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, and have a successful 2018.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks as always for hanging out towards the end. It's DoomTombPodcast at gmail.com. Follow us on social media at DoomTombPodcast. We got a bunch of other stuff coming up, so sit tight. It'll be out real soon. Until that time, keep going to the shows. Enjoy yourselves. Buy some band merch every once in a while. Don't forget to leave a review on iTunes. A couple stars would be awesome. Drop us a line at any time, and don't forget to stay heavy.
a quote that Dio told to Dave Mustaine one time, and it was, well, we can jerk each other off all day, or we can smoke this joint.
They're on.